Hi, Julian DeRosie from the IIF. I'm joined today by John. Hi, John. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Julian. Nice to see you. Thank you for having us back. Always a pleasure.
Well, this is great. You guys have been presenting a few times at the IIF already. So today we're going to have a great chance to catch up on everything that happened within the past few months and also have a little look at what's going to be coming in the up few months. Is that okay for you?
Yeah. Go ahead, Julian. Ask me anything.
Okay, perfect. So first, let's walk back in time a little. Let's go back to January. So end of November, you guys announced a 2 million non-broker private placement. And then just 18th of January, you announced an oversubscribed private placement of 3.4 million. So I get the answer of the market was very positive on that placement.
Yeah, and actually we closed it in 4 tranches. It ended up going up to about 4.4 million by the time we closed it. It was originally a $2 million financing that turned into 4.4 million.
Well, this obviously is a very big step of approval of what you're doing and how fast you guys are moving forward. But then that gives you also a bigger war chest. So what have you planned to do with the 4 million?
Well, what we obviously we got the company public. That's a big step. So now the company's been public. It's been public for about 2 weeks. We've also started some drilling. We started drilling at Bégin-la-Marche, which is about 75 kilometers from the deep sea port of Saguenay. We've had some phenomenal results. We've had the highest results of phosphate that have ever been found in the whole region of Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean. We found phosphate in some very thick layers at about 7.6%, all the way up to beyond 10%. So drilling continues there, and we're very happy with the results that we're seeing. You'll be seeing more and more results out of there in the coming weeks. Also, as you know, we signed an MOU with Prayon. It's the largest producer of purified phosphoric acid in Europe, and in my opinion, the best technology for transforming phosphate concentrate to purified phosphoric acid. So we're in the process of working on samples, doing some lab work. You'll be seeing out some lab results and some results from some studies. I'm a little bit cautious to say what's coming out because we're working on it right now, and we will be announcing that in the near future, the results of all these studies that have been occurring.
But also, John, this partnership, this is great you're talking about it, because this partnership actually is a very large one. They engage in collaborating towards the accessing the feasibility, potential partnership for the phosphate concentrate production and offtake, LFP grade phosphoric acid toll processing, license for LFP grade phosphoric acid production facility, and development of the LFP cathode active material manufacturing plant. So this is more than an offtake agreement. This is a true partnership on developing together all of those katas and maybe giving you even the access to doing it yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's four main steps in the MOU. So the first one is an offtake agreement. As soon as we are able to produce a concentrate, they would be willing to replace a certain amount of their concentrate with concentrate coming from First Phosphate. That's number one. Number two, which is great, is we have a toll processing agreement. So in the beginning, as we're building up our LFP cathode active material demand and production, instead of having to make purified phosphoric acid ourselves, Prayon would be willing to toll process it for us. So that saves us a lot of capex in the beginning for a company that's getting started. So that's a really great development for us. And then eventually we will have a license to create our own purified phosphoric acid plant in Saguenay using Prayon technology once our volumes get to a certain level that it's justified to have our own facility. So that's the third thing. And the fourth thing would be, the two companies are working together, looking at investigating, the whole LFP CAM side and how we can work together to produce LFP CAM for North America. So four big steps there in the MOU.
Well, this is absolutely great. This seems like a very, very good partnership. And obviously, as you said, saving a lot of capex is never a bad thing in mining, especially in big project. When we move forward from there, you announce your listing on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Why did you guys decide to do the dual listing and be present in Europe?
Well, yeah, I always think that, the phosphate story is a story that, and, the battery metal story is a story that is obviously, very key to the Western world. It's very advanced in North America and also in Europe. Always had, great respect for the European investor. I am European myself, and we want to make sure that, we give the opportunity to European investors to know the First Phosphate story. That's also why we're working with IIF. So, working in Europe, it's important that investors have an easy way that they can access, shares of First Phosphate. So now we're listed on Frankfurt as a KD0, and we're accessible by European investors that way, because some European investors cannot buy on North American exchanges. So now it just makes it more accessible for those around the world to participate in First Phosphate's development.
Well, this is really, really good to hear. Obviously, giving a chance to more investors, obviously with an MOU with a Belgian company, it seems like it's very logical to enter the European market as a second listing. Then afterwards, you already, guys, on March 6th, you already engaged P&E mining consultant to complete a PA. Maybe if you can tell us a little more about that. You guys came out the blocks very, very fast. Usually we have PA announcement quite after years, 1 year or 2 years of drilling and so on. You went public 3 months later, you're already in a PA phase. Can you tell us exactly where you're at on that?
Yeah, I think, Julian, I think it's important to understand if investors go to our website, www.firstphosphate.com, and they just click on our news area at the top, you'll go there and you'll see probably, I think there's up to 24 press releases since about June of 2022 when we got started. And if you read through those press releases, I think you'll see that every single one of those press releases is meaningful in some way in the development of the company. So this is a company that plans to execute. We plan to execute in this manner, and forever. We have a battery market that's growing. It needs fast execution, and so we plan to stay on top of that. And yes, you're going to see tremendous execution out of this company. We want to be an execution-oriented company. We're well ahead of schedule. The PEA builds upon our 43-101. A 43-101 report that established the resource at Lac Alorignal came out, I believe, October of 2022. And then the next logical step is to move into PEA. So usually, companies might take, several months or years to do that, but we're moving faster. So a few months later, we're announced the PEA, which is preliminary economic assessment that will give us the feasibility around building the mine at Lac Alorignal. We expect to have that to the markets by the end of 2023. Just so you know, Lac Alorignal is our flagship property. We have a resource established between inferred and why am I missing my words there? Inferred and indicated of 49 million tons. And so, that's already a really good resource. It's a very small, low capex intensive mine, small to medium mine. It gives us enough phosphate that we would need to supply our offtake with Crayon. It leaves us some concentrate for ourselves as well to create purified phosphoric acid. It's just the perfect size for us. So we are moving that into PEA. And also the other property that we're starting to do advanced drilling on, which is Beijing-La-Marche, where we're finding, exceptional grades of phosphate very close to the deep sea port, right in an area where there's, significant infrastructure already ready. That's kind of, something for the future. So, we're planning ourselves out, we're pacing ourselves, and we're moving forward in every direction that we can. It's also important to understand, we are into exploration, we are into mine development, we are into, purified phosphoric acid creation, and we're also into LFP cathode active material creation. It might seem a lot for a company, but I think if you look at our execution, we're executing on all of these fronts little by little every day. And we hope to emerge as an integrated producer of LFP cathode active material that starts from mine all the way to LFP cam, similar to what you might find in the fertilizer industry when you look at the business model, which we really highly respect of somebody like a Mosaic or a Nutrien, where they start from a mine and they go to a bag of fertilizer. We want to start with a mine and go to a bag of LFP cathode active material, if you will.
Well, this seems obviously like an amazing business model. And before we enter the business model, you used the "we" a lot for First Phosphate. And I think management and people that are surrounding you were actually a big key element in the success that you guys are having right now. Can you tell us a little bit about your board, about the guys, the advisory, about your even your business partnership, which you have even on your website and so on? Just tell us a little bit about how good you're surrounded and how key these people are in the First Phosphate success.
Yeah, no, it's great, Julie. And I say we because, you know, I look at myself as a team leader and I look at, you know, everybody around us and in the company as really important members of the company. We call it, you know, our management family, our board family, our shareholder family. You know, we aim to be a company that, you know, we feels comfortable to work at, comfortable to own the shares, and everybody wants to be a part of, you know, what is a, you know, a really great future here for North America and the electrification and prerogative. So we want to, you know, we want to have a very good positive energy around us. So everyone that's in the company is very involved, whether it's board, management, or advisors. I mean, the lines are very thin because we all help out each other. So, you know, some of our, you know, top names on our management team, obviously there's Peter Kent, who is our president. Peter Kent is the ex-minister of the environment for Canada. He also has a very long career in journalism. He's a great mentor to me and a great mentor to you know, all of our staff. We have Larry Zeifman, who's a chairman of our board. Larry's an auditor. He audits about 20 public companies, so that's a very strong signal to the markets that, you know, this is a no-nonsense company. We're going to follow all the governance as is necessary. You know, also we have, you know, some very senior members of our advisory board. We've got Yves Caprara, who is the ex-CEO of Prayon. He helps us a lot in understanding, you know, the whole phosphoric acid market. You know, we've got on our management team, you know, I point to Pierre Cossette, who is ex-Rio Tinto, has negotiated major contracts in the Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean region of Quebec. You know, there are so many people that I could be mentioning at this point, but, you know, if you go to our website and you go into the About Us section, you will see management, board, and advisors. And these are all people that, you know, are just not pretty faces on a presentation, but they're people that, you know, interact and speak amongst themselves, and they speak with me and I speak with everybody, you know, sometimes 2-3 times a week. And when you look at that, it's quite a bit of communication, but we're very proud and we're very happy with the team we have. We're fully circular, we're fully open, we're fully transparent, we fully share information. There's no fiefdoms in our organization. It's all about sharing and building and building connections and dots where sometimes in other companies they don't exist. It's all about the team. It's all about moving the project forward, and that's what I like so much, and that's why we're moving so quickly around here, is because just the energy of the team involved, and you know, there's just the sheer intellect of some of the members of our team is just breathtaking. Sometimes I just sit back and I just wow, you know, I get a lot of wow moments and a lot of moments of brilliance from our team.
Well, then this is obviously key for any project to succeed, to be able to surround yourself with guys that are as good or if not better than yourself. And this is how every project moves on hurdles very, very fast. And talking about that, maybe discussing something little more fundamental to your business, which is basically the LFP battery itself. So the LFP is a lithium iron sulfate phosphoric acid battery. So people could think, hey, that means that there's a lot of lithium. That means that there's a lot of iron. There should be just a little phosphate. Can you tell us actually what's the ratio of every element and how key having high quality, high purity phosphate it is for those batteries? And also with that, how hard is it to find a rock that has this quality in it?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. It's a long answer. I'm going to try and make it very short. So, you know, lithium iron phosphate. So it's lithium, iron, and phosphate. So in order to make, you know, 1 kilogram of lithium iron phosphate, this is very general, right? Because it's different amongst the different manufacturers. But to make 1 kilogram of LFP cathode active material, you will require 300 grams of lithium. You will require 800 grams of H3PO4, which is purified phosphoric acid at 85% weight percentage. And you will require 1.8 kilograms of iron sulfate. So, you know, the iron sulfate is actually the largest component. It's more than 2 times the phosphoric acid. And the phosphoric acid is, you know, 3 times the lithium. Okay. Now you require all those elements together to make, you know, 1 kilogram of LFP cathode active material, because obviously there's water and waste that goes out. Now, what's interesting is it requires half the amount of lithium than an NMC battery. So that's good because it keeps the costs lower. These batteries are 50% to 66% cheaper than NMC batteries. But the fact that you have half of the lithium that goes into them is great because it allows you to make twice the amount of batteries with the same amount of lithium. And that's really important for the industry because we're constrained in what we can produce. The purified phosphoric acid, you need to get to food grade phosphoric acid and even above that, which is, a battery grade phosphoric acid where there's no metallic elements left in there. Those formulas are all proprietary, but it's a very high purification for phosphate. So when people think, phosphate is very accessible out there, it's going to be very easy to make an LFP battery. That's wrong. There's going to be a tremendous pinch point in LFP cathode active material, and that's going to be because it's going to be because of the lithium, but mostly it's going to be because of the phosphate. And also the iron sulfate is very difficult to source in North America. So getting back to the phosphate, if you go onto our homepage and you go right down to the bottom, you'll see that there's a beautiful article that's been written by Yves Caprara, who is our advisor. He was the ex-CEO of Prayon. He's pointed out what this pinch point will be in purified phosphoric acid, because the real expansion is going to be in the need for purified phosphoric acid. We believe that purified phosphoric acid by 2030, this is very conservatively, is going to be 35% more requirement in North America. But I personally believe that we could see that going up 100 to 300% based on all the different LFP needs. Then the iron sulfate is difficult to procure in North America. We have a solution to that. We have titanium in our reserves, and in processing our titanium, we are able to create iron sulfate. That's something that we're working on. So, we feel that we're pretty covered off in terms of what is needed to produce the LFP battery. That's basically your general chemical formula for it. But it is complex. It is one of the more complex syntheses out there. It's much more complex than the NMC battery. And right now there is no production of it in North America. So we have to move fast. And that's why our company is moving so fast, because LFP cathode active material is required as soon as possible in North America for our independence in the electrification prerogative.
Well, that was a very great overview of it. Thank you very much for that, John. I read the article, very great article. It's about 3 to 4 minutes read, but it really gives you, as you said, all the pinch points for the LFP batteries. And I really recommend it for any viewers that want to understand exactly at where the industry at right now and where the future needs are. This is for sure an absolutely good read. Moving forward with your business model, obviously producing all of that, getting big rocks, you need to transport those, you need to send it to market, you need to have access to market. How are you guys, which are located a little northeast of Saguenay, how are you planning to actually access market?
Yeah, so we're quite lucky, in the fact that we're just going after the LFP battery. It means that, we're able to have a much smaller mine, and we're actually able to have a much smaller mine that's much closer to infrastructure, right? We're not a big fertilizer project. We're not going after massive tons of concentrate to be produced every year. We're going after smaller quantities of concentrate. This means that we can very easily move our concentrate to the deep sea port of Saguenay using standard 52-ton trucks, which are the ones that are allowed on roads, and there's no problems with it. We don't have to build new infrastructure. We don't have to build new bridges. We don't have to build a new port. We're just going to use the infrastructure that's already out there and that's accessible. We put together an MOU as well with the Port of Saguenay. We have space there to build out our industrial facilities and to ship our concentrate and to purify our acid, and also perhaps to be able to make our own LFP cathode active material. So our project is really one where we're trying to keep the capex as low as possible. We're trying to keep the mine as small as possible, and as keep the capex focused on value-added activities, right? I have no need to build bridges and ports. I just want to, put my capex towards, building out a purified phosphoric acid facility one day at the Port of Saguenay and creating LFP cathode active material. So my capex is going towards high value-added activities, which is, it's in line with what, the Quebec and Canadian governments want and what all of us want. Like in Canada, what we've been doing for well too long is, creating big projects and just exporting our raw materials. We want to use a little bit less of our raw materials, think a little bit smart, and create some high value added activities for the region of Saguenay, for Quebec, for Canada, and for North America.
Well, this is great to hear. And when you're saying things like that, also, I also hear kind of ESG values and so on. And as you said, your board is very, very strong on that issue, having an ex-environmental minister with. And one thing that caught my attention when looking at your business model is actually your gypsum byproduct. Can you tell us about that part, about how you intend to utilize every single piece of what you have on the land, of what you're going to be extracting, and making sure it adds value and actually makes a little more circular economy around it, or basically using 100% almost of what you have?
Yeah, no, that's great, Julian. So, we understand that, the electrification prerogative is about creating a better, cleaner world, right? So if in creating the elements, the batteries that are needed to create this better, cleaner world, we have to create that in the cleanest way possible. When we look at some of the ways that these batteries and this LFP cathode active material is being created in some other parts of the world, and then we kind of look at the pollution that's created to create these batteries. Is it really worth, the benefit that you get from the battery, right? Or are you better off to just drive your current fossil fuel car? So we have to make the batteries in a clean, circular way, and we have to be very careful of every step along the way. We want to be obviously, the highest and cleanest source of, purified phosphoric acid and LFP cathode active material in North America. It makes no sense to onshore production of LFP cathode active material in North America if we cannot make that in the cleanest way possible. So yes, using igneous rock, when we convert igneous rock concentrate to purified phosphoric acid, there's no radioactivity or very low traces of radioactivity in the rock. So the gypsum that comes out is fully recyclable, and it can be made into plaster, it can be made into wallboard, it can be used in cement. It can also be used in agriculture. So that's very important, because it means that, you don't create these big gypsum slag piles, which are becoming very, very problematic in many parts of the world that, process phosphate using sedimentary rock for fertilizer. So we're in a completely different market for LFP. We have to watch the environment. We'll have full circularity, full recycling of the gypsum. And also, we've got Clean Quebec Hydro that's going to be available at the Port of Saguenay. So our LFP cathode active material will be, fully green. Also in our mine, when we separate the apatite concentrate in which the phosphate is found, the titanium and the iron, we're doing that, through solventless recovery. We're doing that through flotation and through magnetics. We're very careful on every level to maintain the highest ESG standard possible.
Well, that's great to hear. It comes to an end, John. Maybe just a few words about what's going to be upcoming in the next 3 months for you guys.
Yeah, so I'm always hesitant to give away what is coming up. I think you have to maintain a little bit of surprise. But obviously we're working forward on our business model. We're working forward on our 4 pillars. Exploration, concentrate production, purified phosphoric acid production, and also the production of LFP cathode active material. You'll see, our press cycle is going to keep up. It's going to be all meaningful press coming out here in the coming weeks. Expect to see a little bit more developments on our LFP cathode active material in the next few weeks. Expect to see some things on our concentrate production, and expect to see continued drilling results at Bégin-La-Marche.
Well, John, thank you very much. That's all the time we had. I invite any viewers to go on the website to join your mailing list. For sure, there are actually meaningful press releases coming in. I know I get them in my own inbox, quite a few per week. It's always great to see CEOs that are moving at a fast pace, that are doing the right things right. So we encourage any viewers, again, go on the website, get on the newsletter, go look. There's interesting articles, understanding the LFP market, understanding their business model, the 4 pillars as John has described earlier, what's going to happen on the downstream side. Also read the MOU, understand what the business model is, keep on following the story. John, thank you very much for this interview. Thank you very much for your time, and we wish you the best of luck for the next few months.
Yeah, thank you, Julian. It was great to be on here, and look forward to coming on more often, keeping your readers informed.
Perfect. So John, thank you again for joining the IIF, and have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye, Julian.